I'm your host Vithanakande Silva, and today we're doing the first ever vertical tea tasting in the PMD Tea Buyers Club. What is a vertical tea tasting? Well, we're taking the same tea, well not the same tea, a tea from the same estate, and it's from two separate manufacturers. One manufacturer is the one that we've been supplying in the company, and then the other manufacturer is the new tea that we're looking to buy because our stocks are running almost at zero. So the tea that I'm going to do this with is New Vithanakande estate, and it's one of my favourite estates in Sri Lanka. And the reason is because it's a very unique tea in terms of its flavour and in terms of its palate profile. But one thing that I really enjoy about New Vithanakande is the way that the actual estate and factory are run. First and foremost, you've got 6,000 smallholder tea growers who will have anywhere between half an acre to an acre of land who will farm their tea. That tea will then be purchased by New Vithanakande factory, which is owned by Mr. Pillaipedia, whose family actually set up the factory back in the 1940s. Mr. Pillaipedia is a trained rubber and tea planter, and he's worked on many of the finest estates that you can find in Sri Lanka. And he now runs New Vithanakande factory. And it's a wonderful factory. I remember the first time I went up there, I was blown away by the investment that they've put. Obviously, they go back to the time-honored skills in making their tea, but there's a huge amount of investment in the technology that they use, in the practices, and also in the upkeep of the factory as well. And this is something that you don't see in the upcountry estates, which are now owned by private companies that very much have an attitude of, let's take out all the profit in the factory, put very little back in, and then pay off shareholder dividend. That's not always the case with all plantation companies, but unfortunately with a lot of them it is, and that's why we have so many closed down factories or shabby looking tea factories in the upcountry at the moment, which is quite a saddening thing. But thankfully New Vithanakande, it's a beautiful factory, it's perched up on a hill, and I think the key difference that makes New Vithanakande tea so different from any other tea estate in Sri Lanka or any other tea estate in the world is the fact that it's located next to a virgin rainforest known as the Singlaraja. And this is a rainforest that's found in the Ratnapura region, which is otherwise known as the City of Gems. And this rainforest has such a character on this tea, and if you haven't tasted this tea, I highly recommend that you guys click the link below and try it, because you will never ever find a black tea that tastes like this. The fact that the tea bushes grow next to this rainforest just gives Vithanakande tea this honey, this honey caramel sweet aroma that you just don't find in any other tea estate. I've certainly never tasted it in any other tea estate in Sri Lanka. It's a unique quality of New Vithanakande tea, and this is why we supply it. So today I'm taking the old purchase sample of the last invoice of New Vithanakande that we had made for us. This tea is done on special manufacture for PMD, and this is the very same tea that we send to Harrods. So it's absolutely crucial that we get the same quality, if not a better quality, every time that we purchase a New Vithanakande tea. And what we'll do is, if this sample is good, we will keep the sample of tea, and then we'll have the shipment come through. We'll taste the purchase sample against the actual order that we've placed, and then we'll keep this sample for the next time we look to purchase Vithanakande tea, and we'll taste this sample against the new sample of tea that's come in, and that's how we look to keep the quality. So when we're doing a vertical tea tasting, one thing that we look for is, I'm going to look at the first leaf. What does the twist look like? Do we have the same amount of tip in the new sample? Is it black? The same things that we look when we look at buying good tea, but this time we're looking to see, are the teas similar? Now, you're never going to find two teas that are exact, because if you make tea on a Monday, it's going to be different to the tea that you make on Tuesday, because it's not like Coca-Cola. It's, there's so many factors that affect the quality of a tea and the taste and the profile of a tea. Of course, you're going to have the same signature taste, but there are going to be subtle differences, and that comes down to the manufacturer, that comes down to the weather, that comes down to the seasonal climatic factors. There's a whole bunch of things that affect tea. So, you're never ever going to get the same tea, but what we're looking for is a 5% either way, and hopefully we can push that 5% to being a better tea and keep improving the quality. So, looking at the leaf here, the first leaf is is the last sample that we purchased. It's black, there's a wiry twist to the leaf, and most importantly we have a slight tip, not a slight tip, quite a lot of tip in this leaf. Now if I look at the new sample that's come through, the grade of this tea, by the way, is known as Flowery Fanning's Extra Special, and with the tippy teas you get this wonderful, in fact I'll show it to you guys on here, you get this wonderful golden silver tip that litters in the actual black leaf, and that there is the tip from the top of the tea bush that has not been destroyed in the manufacture process, and this is something that you find in the low country teas that are made, because due to the soil condition you're able to preserve the tip in your manufacture process. I'm going to give this a quick sniff and see what the smell of this is like. Big sweet bouquet to this tea. It's just, oh. Big sweet bouquet, honey caramel aroma in it. Typical New Vithanakande, typical New Vithanakande, which is exactly the same as what we have over here. To be honest, I think in terms of looking at the leaf, I think the new sample that we have is actually better. It's a lot blacker, and there is actually a lot more tip. Beautiful twist on this leaf as well. There's a good twist on this, but to be honest, this leaf looks slightly better, probably about 10%, maybe 5 to 10% better than the original standard that we had. Let's look at the two infusions. Well, that one, similar infusions, nice and bright. Wonderful smell coming off this one as well. Big nose. And the new sample. Let's move these two leaf standards away and then look at the two cups. Now, again in the cup, you want the cup to look exactly the same or pretty much similar, and that's exactly what you're getting here. There's a nice golden rim in the new one. It's a little bit brighter actually. Bear in mind that the one in my right hand is the new sample and the one in my left is the older one. A little bit brighter in the new one. And what I'm first going to do is I'm going to taste the older one to benchmark where this tea should be, and then I'm going to taste the new one, and then we'll go from there. Typical New Vithanakande flavours. A lot of quality, caramel in the mid palate, honey on the sides, and you just get this sweetness right at the tip of your tongue. Typical New Vithanakande. This is obviously why we buy it. This is obviously why it's one of Harrods' top selling teas. Let's try out the new sample. I didn't want to spit that away. Just as good. Flavours probably a little more pronounced, but that's probably because it's a newer tea. It's just been manufactured last week. You have got that freshness to it. Just as good. The flavours match up exactly. I'm going to give it another taste. Boy, that's one nice tea. Very nice tea. Clean, crisp flavours. Very developed. It's a wonderful tea. If you guys like, I like to take this tea plain, and I kind of recommend that you guys do the same with it. You can add a bit of milk if you'd like. At the end of the day, tea is a subjective thing. You want to add milk, add milk. You want to have it plain, have it plain. You want to brew it for a little less time. Find what you guys like, but try this tea. This is a wonderful tea. And this is exactly, I hope you guys got to see today how we look to keep the standard what it is at PMD, and if not, raise it. I personally think that in terms of leaf quality, the leaf looks better on this tea. But in terms of quality in the cup, they're exact, they're on point. So, yep, we'll definitely be going with this sample. Tea should be coming in over the next month or so. And that's today's episode. We will definitely get out, how many episodes this week? We'll definitely get out at least 2 episodes, maybe another vertical tea tasting. We've got a lot of teas to taste, so maybe we might even drop 3 videos this week. As ever, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Check out New Vithanakande tea on the website. If you have any questions, post them up to us on either Instagram or Twitter, or even on Facebook or YouTube, or however you want to get in touch. And if you have any questions for me, tweet me at PMD_silver. Thank you for watching and happy sipping.